Oh, hey, this is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. 4 wins in a row it is for the Sacramento Kings. They beat the Orlando Magic last night, 107-99. Buddy Hield led all scorers with 25 points. The Kings get tonight off before heading to Atlanta to face the Hawks tomorrow. The NFL trade deadline passed yesterday. The 49ers and Raiders were both quiet, but there were moves around the league. The Lions traded wide receiver Golden Tate to the Eagles. The Broncos shipped wide receiver Demaryius Thomas to the Texans. The Jaguars sent defensive end Dante Fowler to the Rams, and the Packers sent safety HaHa Clinton-Dix to Washington. Draft picks were the compensation in all of those moves, and the Sharks tied the Rangers at 3 with 1.3 seconds left thanks to Tomas Hertl's 5th goal of the season, but the Rangers topped San Jose in a shootout. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHGK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what? Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Scott Bair from NBC Sports California is going to give us a change-up. We'll talk about the Raiders. Also, Raiders-Niners tomorrow. Thursday night football, such as it is. I saw a Thursday night football promo on TV, and I think the slogan, the catchphrase was, "When it's on, it's on." And and they were showing Raiders and Niners highlights, and I remember thinking, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. When it's on, it's on, I guess. Tomorrow night's games can kind of be like jury duty. Like, you just kind of have to watch it. You have to go and see it. Kyle, can I, real quick, can I mention your tweet that you sent yesterday regarding the Raiders-Niners game? I mean, you put it out there publicly.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, Kyle, I was confused about something because I believe you said you said you had 2-4. Does that mean you had 2 to 4 tickets?
Yeah, I have 2 or 4 tickets.
Okay, so if somebody wanted 4, then they could have 4. If somebody could only take 2, then they would take 2. Okay. I got you. Just want to make sure. So Kyle was very nice and said, I have 2 to 4 tickets for the Niners Raiders on Thursday. First taker also gets a parking pass for free. DM me if you're interested. Are your DMs open?
Yeah.
Here's some of the first responses. And you can get our friend Mr. Bair on the phone if you'd like. LOL for real. If someone was like, hey, I'll give you $100, I'd probably still say no, especially on a Thursday. The next response, I already committed to stepping in buckets of nails instead. Oh, that's from our friend John, who is just a terrible, terrible person.
King's Twitter MVP.
I say our friend, more like our enemy. John is the true enemy of the people. From Glenn, these are in a row, by the way. I'm not cherry picking these. Man, what an offer, Kyle. If I wasn't so busy enjoying doing just about anything else that day, I'd totally take you up on that. I'm sure that we have some lucky masochist that will have a blast. From River Choi, just to see battle of first-round draft picks?
That's not what he said. He said just to see, first-round draft picks. With the exception of a few teams, every game is a battle of first-round draft picks. So
I think he was trying to say like battle of who gets.
I know,
number
but
one
he
pick,
he tried making a joke and he sucked at it.
Matt, the Kings fan, put up a picture of a sloth that simply said, "How about no?" I mean, you were trying to give away tickets.
Yeah, if you don't want the damn tickets, then just don't say anything.
Thank you. You're trying to be nice and give away tickets with the parking. Okay.
Sell.
You're trying to sell them.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to sell them?
I have several people wanting them.
You do? Okay,
yes.
Good. Oh, I thought you were giving them away and people were being mean about it. You were trying to sell them and people were being mean about it.
Yes.
Okay. You're not going?
No, I have to be here at 5 a.m.
Whatever. Think Michael Jordan worried about being somewhere at 5 a.m. when he was playing?
Yeah, the casino.
Joining us right now from NBC Sports California, it is his job to be there. He gets paid to be at this game tomorrow night. Raiders, Niners. This time it's for real. Battle of the Bay. And Scott Bair of NBC Sports California is going to tell us all about it. Did you enjoy the bye week at least, Scott?
Yeah, I did. It was refreshing, and I can't wait for this upcoming weekend, too, where there isn't a game. So, yeah, it's a short week for everybody. That includes me. But afterward is the sweet, sweet vacation of 2 days with no football. Well, even though I'm probably going to watch it because I'm an addict.
Yeah.
But, 2 days, well, I don't have to write some stuff about it.
I was going to say, isn't that nice for you where normally your Sundays are hyper-focused on one game? This Sunday you can get up, roll down in what I imagine is every young man's Sunday outfit, a sleeveless Slayer T-shirt and boxers, and just eat horribly and watch games all Sunday. That must be nice as a change.
Yeah, I just do that from the comfort of my mother's basement, like I do every single day. So yeah, good.
Since we last spoke, the Raiders roster looks a little bit different. Amari Cooper goes to the Cowboys. Now, Scott, most of what I've read around, and of course I always read you first, is saying that listen, whether or not, and I'm paraphrasing here, whatever you want to say about John Gruden's past moves, in a vacuum, getting a first-round draft pick for Amari Cooper is probably a pretty good deal for Oakland.
It's a coup, man. If you look at it, he was going to be one of those tweener wide receivers who was really good and has a standout sterling resume, but probably isn't worth that elite receiver money that he was going to command because of the nature of an ever-escalating market for certain position groups. And you think, well, if Sammy Watkins got $16 million a year, what's this guy going to get to be inconsistent as he has been? And I'm a big believer that Amari Cooper is a dynamic talent on the cusp of becoming one of those upper-tier, elite-type wide receivers, but has never put it all together, has never had a healthy season. And he was going to jump even next year up to $14 million for that fifth-year option. And then after he signed his extension, P.S., his agent is Joel Siegel, same one who represents Khalil Mack, and was going to take nothing less than the absolute maximum dollar amount. Then you figure he's going to get paid $17 or $18 million, and is that worth it for somebody that you can't count on every single game, who had, since the start of 2017, 10 games with less than 20 yards receiving? So they made a decision. I think it was a smart one. Yeah, they might have to go out and get another receiver with that draft pick, but he'll be a lot cheaper, and they can address a lot more things financially and with all the draft picks that they have now.
What?
Well, that for positivity.
Man, I'm telling you, and that's fun. I think Raider fans have gotten to a point where whether they agree or disagree with what John Gruden's doing, they at least understand what he's doing. And without coming out and saying it, Gruden danced around it. I think he actually said something like, most of you can figure it out as far as where his priorities were. Did you take his message, I think it was about a week and a half ago, talking to reporters, did you take his message to reporters and fans is that he is focused on Las Vegas, as one of the many masters he's serving, focusing on the future in Las Vegas, maybe even more than the now in Oakland?
Yeah, it's been tough. I've wanted to ask him that question directly the last couple of availabilities, but there's always been some new dramatic twist that I had to hone in on.
Sure.
But to your point, it is a weird thing, because this is the same guy who stood up at Ricky's Sports Bar, a Raider haven in San Leandro, and swore that he was going to do everything to win one for a fan base that had bought Bridgestone tires and Hooters wings and Coronas ever since he started pitching them, because they love this guy. They love John Gruden here, and I'm sure they love him up in Sacramento, this entire area. He just speaks to kind of the gritty, blue-collar Raiders fan. And I think that he has an attachment to them, but it's going to sound like I'm defending him, and I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to get your listeners into his brain for a bit, is that he's in a weird spot because he got his hands on this roster. He realized that it stunk, and then he said, okay, what is my job here with a 10-year contract? How do I get this team back to respectability quickly without saddling myself with the salary cap? Well, it's dismantling this thing Houston Astros, Cincinnati Reds, Philadelphia 76ers style. That's the best way that I can do it for the long-term viability of this franchise. But it is this moving in 2020 thing that puts a wrench in all of it. And I think that is a point that maybe is something that he's struggling with, why he tries to win every single week, like no matter what, but ultimately did not detract him from his long-term vision. And something else that I have noticed is that with the Cooper trade, especially, and the Mac trade, obviously, is that the story is different here than it is throughout the rest of the country. Through the rest of the country, the talk was Gruden just fleeced the Cowboys. Here, he's screwing Oakland and Sacramento and the Bay Area out of an opportunity to see a winning season, to see a quality product, right? The same action viewed through two different lenses. And there's the term Bay Area in my website's name and my television station's name. And there's a lot of prominent media members from the Bee all the way down to the Mercury News who are looking at the Raiders only through the prism of their remaining time in the Bay Area, and then they will drop them like a hot potato after that point. So it skews the coverage, it skews his vision somewhat, and he's having a tough time trying to serve two masters.
Hey, Scott, I want to shift over real quick to Thursday's game. Is this a scenario where the Raiders, I mean, they're not... We saw them shifting some personnel around against the Colts. Are we going to see more of that against the 49ers? And maybe not tanking, but just kind of seeing what they have on their roster?
I was waiting for you to say the T word. I knew it was coming. And I respect what you're saying, though, because, come on, they had Jason Cabinda come in, and they're seeing veterans leave, and they're trying out new secondary options.
Yeah, maybe not, like I said, maybe not tanking, but just... not necessarily putting themselves in the best position to win.
Okay. I get exactly what you're saying. I think that they're taking advantage of this opportunity to see who they have on this roster to try to make these games, wins or losses, productive. So maybe they're not tanking because, as John Gruden points out, and I think is more accurate in football than anything else, is that when you wake up at 4 a.m. and you get your body physically bashed in to the level that these guys do, there's nothing else than going for victory. So they will try different things. Some of their options as veterans have not been very good, so why the heck not try something else? But it is weird. I mean, I sort of envision the victor of this game, like putting their coach on their shoulders saying, we're 31. But ultimately, it's about, trying to find pieces that are viable for the future. He says, we're going to put the best 22 out there. I don't know if that's always the case because, again, that goes against a larger picture.
Scott Bair, NBC Sports California. Scott, you said something earlier that's just kind of rattled around in my brain about John Gruden in the bars beforehand pumping up Oakland Raider fans, and John Gruden now, who may or may not be saying, forget this year. We're focusing on Vegas. Do you think there's a world in where John Gruden truly believed that, and then the Khalil Mack trade informed him of a completely different mindset, that he believed it going into the season? And once that Mac trade happened, that was a conscious decision at that point. All right, we got to switch gears. We're going another direction.
Ding, ding, ding. That's it, man. You nailed it. I don't know John Gruden. I've never been over to his house for a family dinner or anything, but I believe that to be true, that professional football coaches lie. It's part of their job, and I get it. But I don't think that he when he says things or he's asked things or he's in front of a crowd, that he's like, I'm going to lie right here. I think at that point, before he went to training camp, he really believed that this team was a good coach and play caller away. And I think that three of us have sat around and talked about these things before, and I think that the expectation and the mindset did shift. I don't think he stood there at rookies and lied. I think his opinion has changed, and it is allowed to change. But I think that one move, the Khalil Mack move, it was a monumental shift. You're exactly right, and it has changed everything ever since, because he got 2 first-round draft picks. He was never going to be saddled with what he deemed a salary cap handcuffs Whether he would have had them or not is an argument that I will fight against, but that's for a different segment. But, yes, I do believe that he thought, we're going to be competitive. We're going to be good right away. We got all these players. Khalil Mack was an attraction for him to come here. That has not changed. That will never change from his original mindset to come here. He just had a shift. When that contract for Aaron Donald came down, so massive and all-consuming in his mind, I think things changed when they got 2 first-round draft picks. They got rid of their best defensive player, knowing he knew full well at that point defense needed a complete makeover. Now it needed a radical reconstruction. So, yeah, he wasn't lying to them then. I think he generally doesn't lie to us now. I think he's just in a position where he's, again, he's trying to survive facing a lot of media and a lot of fans that may not be around in 2 or 3 years, trying to execute a big picture vision that happens to be in Las Vegas. I don't know how much he thinks about the relocation when he makes these moves. He's just trying to make the best moves that he believes and he sees fit for this franchise. And he's taken a lot of flack, a lot of it. I think some of it is deserved. I think his impatience is his Achilles heel and fatal flaw to this stage. But I also think he is trying to do his best in a vacuum for what he believes will be the best long-term vision, and he's only 7 or 8 regular season weeks into it. We don't know how this thing is going to turn out yet.
Well, luckily for John Gruden and the Raiders, they get a game against arguably the least talented team they've played all season. However, the 49ers do have a player by the name of George Kittle. How do you think the Raiders might go about slowing him down?
Can they, like, Nancy Kerrigan the situation before the game?
Yeah!
Because outside of that...
Do it!
Was that too far? Outside of that, my point, as I go completely tabloid, my point is that... Okay, all right, I'm not going directly to HE double hockey stick for that.
Right.
Basically, all that I'm trying to say is that look at the last game where 3 tight ends scored touchdowns. Jack Doyle looked like Rob Gronkowski, and Eric Ebron looked like Jimmy Graham, right? And George Kittle, I haven't seen him a lot in person, but everything that I've heard is this guy is a dynamic playmaker who's obviously doing a lot at this early stage of his career, and I think he could be kryptonite for that Raiders defense. Maybe that's a more appropriate analogy to make. But anyway, but yeah, I think that he could have a big day. And they've tried everything. They've tried safeties on tight ends. It's not just this year. I mean, I was covering this team when Gary Barnidge from the Cleveland Browns torched the Raiders. They've had tight end problems for a long time. George Kittle is a very good one. I think Marquise Goodwin could pose a bit of a problem as well because just his natural speed and sometimes the Raiders' inability at safety to get to the right spot and help out those cornerbacks. But the great equalizer here is they have these skill players that we're talking about that I think are real problems for the Raiders' defense. And how can you get him the ball, man? I don't know. If it's C.J. Beathard, the Raiders' pass rush is weak enough that he'll have time to sit in there and pat the ball 7,000 or 8,000 times and chuck it downfield like he can. But if it's Nick Mullins making his first start, I think Paul Guenther is crafty enough to create a defensive game plan to confuse the crud out of him and make life really difficult, make it hard to get into George Kittle's hands. So, yeah. So that's what I think. I think if you can get George Kittle the ball, you get Goodwin the ball, the 49ers could move it. If not, it could be a long day for that offense.
We got just a minute left, but I got to get this in with you, Scott Bair of NBC Sports California. With everything that came out last week about Derek Carr and crying and teammates standing up for the guy and his comments on Twitter, Derek's, and his brother's comments on Twitter and all that, it doesn't sound like the prevailing thought in the locker room is anti-Derek Carr, but of whomever those people were, and I'm asking you to speculate, whomever those people were that went in on Derek, do you think despite the loss, his performance against the Colts last week maybe went a long ways in winning some of those guys over?
I absolutely do, because he And for all the reasons that you just discussed, he took it last week from all angles, from trade rumors to lost the locker room to can't fit with John Gruden, and you name it, he had to answer, as he put it, a lot of funny questions last week. And I think his ability to channel football only on Sunday and take away all the pressure of the outside noise and perform and be involved in 4 touchdowns and be accurate. He was pass protected well, but to be accurate, to lead the team, to be passionate about it, I don't know if you're a human being to watch him come out of that and perform the way he did. Of course, a victor would have changed things, but it was very impressive. I think it did go a long way in winning people over. I do believe that you're right, that was a vocal minority that spoke out against him. That happens when you're 1-6 and you have veterans who aren't going to be around for a long-term rebuild. But, he needs to keep proving it, because there are no guarantees with a new coach and a new staff and a / new personnel man. He's got to keep proving it. More performances like he had against the Colts, more gritty performances will go a long way into showing his true mettle to a new batch of evaluators.
Future Hall of Famer Scott Bair of NBC Sports California joins us each and every Wednesday at 8:05. You can go to NBCSports.com, go to the Bay Area part of that thing, and you can look at all kinds of Scott Bair articles on the NFL trade deadline and the Raiders looking at progress on a couple of those 3 first-round picks next year. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie retiring, and so much more. The best coverage is Scott Bair at NBC Sports California. Buddy, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you take care. That's Scott Bair. Scott Bair, man, being brutal on George Kittle. Wow. Unbelievable. Looks like George's going to have a good game tomorrow night. Speaking of, this has nothing to do with that, so it's not really speaking of, but the World Series just got completed this week, and the ratings were were horrific. Want to find out why if we can. We'll discuss that and more. Final half hour of the drive next. Sports 1140 KHTK.
This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings won their 4th game in a row last night against the Magic in Orlando. 107-99 was the final there. Buddy Hield led all scorers with 25 points. Two-way player Troy Williams was good off the bench. He had 12 points on 5 of 9 shooting with 5 rebounds and a couple of blocks. The Kings get tonight off before heading to Atlanta to take on the Hawks as their road trip continues. The NFL trade deadline passed yesterday. The 49ers and Raiders were both quiet, but the Lions sent Golden Tate to the Eagles. The Jaguars sent Dante Fowler to the Rams. The Broncos sent Demaryius Thomas to the Texans, and the Packers sent Clinton Dix to the Washingtons. Draft picks were the compensation in all those deals. I had it written down
I got you.
wrong. And I confused myself. Clinton Dix plays in Washington. Draft picks for the compensation in all of those deals. And the Sharks tied the Rangers at 3 with 1.3 seconds left in the 3rd period last night on Tomas Hertl's 5th goal of the season. The Rangers wound up winning in a shootout. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
I hate when I lose my place.
I like how you say Tomas, which is correct.
That's his name.
No, I'm complimenting you. Tomas. It's fun to say, Tomas. Like banana. That's a fun word. It's a fun word.
Gerbil is always a word I've thought is fun. Gerbil's not funny to you?
Okay. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. Huh? Will you give me a quizzical look?
Is there something I'm missing?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
There is. Just wait for the text line. They'll be on it at 44-1140. It must be said before we get into this World Series thing, it's kind of an interesting day here at the Sporty 1140. See, Kyle and I, if you've been watching us on the television, and you can, of course, go to the KHTK YouTube channel and watch us on demand as well as listen to us. It's Halloween. And Kyle and I, in the Halloween spirit, we are dressed up. Kyle is very appropriately an avocado, and, well, I'm very appropriately a hippo.
Dressed up like just a couple of weens.
Just a couple of weens. You're right, buddy. And it's great. We're in the spirit. Here's the problem. Well, not really a problem. Here's what's interesting. We have a big meeting today, later on, about an hour after we get off the air. It's a big meeting, a big, very important people from corporate headquarters are coming out, and we're going to do, it's just one of those meetings. No one, I hope, is. It's not like everyone's getting fired meeting. It's we're checking in. We love the company we work for. We love when they come out here and visit. And that's no joke. We were recently acquired by a new company. It's been a little over a year now, and we absolutely adore these people. They're good people and they care about us, and they like to come out and check in with us. So everyone around the building is in either a suit or I don't know, whatever ladies wear. The many different things, suits or pantsuits.
People are dressed. They're
dressed up
for business.
Bobby Solorio, who is our promotions, the president of promotions, he's in a suit.
He has a dancing baby Groot on his desk, and he's in a suit. A
full suit with tie. Everyone's dressed up because I think the idea is, and anybody who works in any sort of a corporate culture understands this, when the big important people come in, I think the word was you dress for success, right?
Yes. We're having a very successful Halloween.
Which I've always thought was funny. I get it, but that's why we're stupid and work in radio, not the real world. Because I'm like, right. Well, am I going to go in and speak to people? Like, do your job. I don't want to see you dressed in a tank top and boxers, but come on. I'm not going to walk in somewhere and be like, you're in a suit. You mean business. You are dressed nice. You take your job. I mean, maybe people think that way. I don't know. So we're not trying to be disrespectful, but we're doing our job. This is part of our gig. But we're going to roll into this meeting. And everyone's going to be in suits and stuff. And Kyle's going to be an avocado.
I will be avocadoing.
And I will be a hippo.
You know what's dope is mine I can just take off.
Well, right, but shouldn't we kind of have to? I will roll in there with you as a bit. Yes. Not even as a bit. I feel
No,
fake.
It's a good bit.
I feel like a faker if I let me take off the hippo costume and let me brush my hair. Okay, I'm very presentable. Let me put on my backwards cap so I look presentable. Roll in there as hippo and avocado. Hey, this is our first Halloween where we've had the video.
Yep.
I would like to propose that next Halloween we have to dress up as a tandem.
Yeah, I was wondering if we we're going to set that up this year, but there's too much going on.
We'll put that in. We will come up dressed up as something as a tandem.
Hey, I've got some Jimmy Buffett tickets to give away. Tickets to see Jimmy Buffett and the Coral Reef Band at the Golden One Center on March 16th. Get more info at khtk.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. We'll give those away at the end of this segment.
From the Jiffy Lube text line at 441140, what the heck is up with the meow? It's annoying. I know. Let's see. I want to get to this World Series stuff, Kyle, because you have hot take cannons. According to People, the World Series between the Red Sox and Dodgers averaged over 14 million viewers on Fox. It's down 25% from last year. It's the fourth lowest ever. The only ones lower than this, Phillies' 5-game win over Tampa Bay in 2008, the Giants' 4-game sweep of Detroit, and the Giants' 7-game series win over Kansas City. The Giants-Detroit thing's a little bit interesting, but that was a 4-game sweep. But this is Boston and Los Angeles.
Which I think is the problem.
Really?
I think you got a lot of people who just went, I don't care about either of these teams. I dislike both of these teams. I know for me, last year, Astros-Dodgers was appointment television. This year, it was like, oh yeah, the World Series is on. I'll flip over to that between basketball games.
So you think it's
and
not?
I love baseball.
When you say because it was Boston and L.A., you're not referring to the markets?
No. I think you had a lot of people outside of Boston and L.A. that went, I want both of those teams to lose. I'd rather watch something else. People are sick of Boston and LA. And I understand those are two big markets.
Right.
But those are two big markets where it's only the people in those markets that care.
Did you watch?
I just said I watched a little bit.
I watched.
But it's also kind of sort of part of our jobs.
How much of it do you think has to do with the NBA season moving back?
I think that has something to do with it for sure. Just kind of a general disinterest in baseball. I could see having an impact, like other things going on.
If you're baseball, do you go back to a 152-game season?
No, because baseball's still making money.
And it's the stats, too. I mean, there's so many stats related to that. You basically guarantee there's a lot of single-season records that will never get broken.
Sure, I mean, I guess. But I just think I think it more goes back to and plus, dude, this was not an interesting series. Like there was nothing intriguing about it. It was an LA team going for their, and granted the Dodgers haven't won in 30 years now, which is quite a long time. But LA has won a bunch of stuff. And the Rams are really good and the Lakers have been good.
But also you've got, for example, a 7-game series where it was the Giants and Royals, and
the Giants, that was their third one.
And the Royals, it's a tiny little market.
I bet if I went to a mall and said, "Hey, what's the name of the Kansas City baseball team?" I bet less than 75% of people would know that the Kansas City baseball team is called the Royals.
I certainly understand that it is a small market, and Kansas City is one of the smallest in the league.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to me, and I understand what you're saying. Listen, Boston's won everything. L.A. wins a lot of stuff, although the Dodgers, I believe, I think it's, is it 30 years since they've won it?
Yeah, no, I learned that from you. After every game.
Learned that from listening to you. I'm not disagreeing with what you say, Kyle. We got a break here. I'm not disagreeing with what you say. I think your points are fine, supportive arguments. But I think there's other things going on here with baseball.
I think so, too.
I think there's other things. I don't know what the answer is. But baseball is an old person's game. It's just basketball and football have way taken over.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, and I don't mean this as a negative, I'm the same way. I'm talking about my age group here, too. I don't think most people have the attention span to watch 9 innings of baseball. There's constant action in football and basketball.
Is there, though?
I mean, you've got a lot of downtime if that's where you're going between actual plays.
Right. I think it's football, because football's been king for a long time.
Sure.
I think it's like football, basketball, then a wide margin than baseball and hockey.
I agree.
And
it hasn't always been that way.
No, but I think that football and basketball have evolved their games to be more exciting, and they've changed and they've been different over time. Whereas baseball has just kind of fundamentally been resistant to change. They'd rather adhere to their traditions than appeal to new fans.
2 top 10 markets, and it's the 4th lowest series ever. They could also do away with the social media rules that baseball has set up, too. That's shooting themselves in the foot. We'll take a break. When we come back, what's on tap tonight, along with, that's it. What's on tap, and we got a couple of cleanup stories and sounds for you as well. It's The Drive. It's Sports
real quick, sorry.
What?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
What?
5th caller right now gets Jimmy Buffett tickets.
Are you giving away or selling those?
Giving these away.
Okay,
I'm giving
just wanna
away
be
these
clear.
Jimmy Buffett tickets because all of our KHTK giveaways are powered by RoosevilleAutomo.com.
You were selling stuff yesterday. We'll take a break. We're back with What's on Tap right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. What's on Tap, brought to you by
The Halloween candy buckets that look like jack-o'-lanterns.
Brought to you by the Halloween candy buckets that look like jack-o'-lanterns. Hey, listen, if you're going out trick-or-treating tonight, don't just bring a pillowcase. Everyone knows what you're doing. You're being lazy, okay? Get yourself a bucket. If you want to go classic, get the orange jack-o'-lantern one. But there's others on the market, too. Halloween jack-o'-lantern buckets. Get yours today. What's on tap tonight? Nothing. There's a bunch of basketball that doesn't involve the Kings, so who cares? It's Halloween. You're going to go trick-or-treating or take your kids trick-or-treating or go to a party or sit around and go, I hate Halloween. Halloween sucks. Bah. That's what's on tap. There's nothing on tap about Halloween. There's nothing on tap. All right, hey, Kyle, I have some Halloween spooky facts for you. This is the part of the show where we learn. Kyle, because the movie Halloween, which was made in 1978, was on such a tight budget, they had to use the cheapest mask they could find for the character Michael Myers. Well done on the music, by the way. That mask turned out to be a William Shatner Star Trek mask. Shatner initially didn't know the mask was in his likeness, but when he found out years later, he said he was honored. So Mike Myers and William Shatner, same guy. The first jack-o'-lanterns were actually made from turnips. It's a true story.
Turn up.
Is that where turnt came from?
Yes.
Christmas, as we all know, is the highest grossing commercial holiday of the season. Where in the top 10 would you guess Halloween ranks? Third.
Behind Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. That is the exact answer I would have given. Halloween is the second
Wow.
highest grossing commercial holiday. Are you afflicted, if you know? Have you ever seen a doctor, and has the doctor told you that you have Samhainophobia?
Samhainophobia? No.
Samhainophobia.
Samhainophobia is you're terrified of the process. You do not trust the process.
And Samhainophobia is the fear of Halloween.
Oh.
50% of kids prefer to receive chocolate candy for Halloween, compared with 24% who prefer non-chocolate candy and 10% who prefer gum. We also call them dorks.
Oh, sweet. Another pack of spearmint.
Got some gum. According to Irish legend, jack-o'-lanterns are named after a stingy man named Jack, who, because he tricked the devil several times, was forbidden entrance into both heaven and hell. He was condemned to wander the earth, waving his lantern to lead people away from their paths.
Cool.
The largest pumpkin ever measured was grown by Norm Craven, no relation to Wes.
And now it's on Carmichael Dave's head.
Who broke need that burn ointment. This broke the world record in 1993. How many pounds was the pumpkin, Kyle?
2 tons.
I don't know how many pounds that is.
4,000 pounds.
Really? You think it was 4,000 pounds?
No. I'm going to say 180 pounds.
180 pounds. The world record pumpkin in 1993, 836 pounds.
Oh my God.
You could probably crawl into it.
Yeah. For sure.
Can you imagine that jack-o'-lantern cleaning that up?
No.
Trick-or-treating evolved from the ancient Celtic tradition of putting out treats and food to placate spirits who roamed the streets at Samhain, a sacred festival that marked the end of the Celtic calendar year. Souling.
I feel like we should be like skulking around a haunted house right now.
I love this. This is like the spooky level of Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah. Souling is a medieval Christian precursor to modern day trick-or-treating. On Hallowmas, like Christmas, but Halloween, November 1st, the poor would go door to door offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes. Also,
Soul Cakes,
a fun 80s band. The first known mention of trick-or-treating in print in North America occurred in 1927 in Blackie, Alberta, Canada. Black and orange are typically associated with Halloween.
And the San Francisco Giants.
Orange is a symbol of strength and
Cincinnati
endurance.
Bengals.
And along with brown and gold stands for the harvest and autumn. Can you guess where the birthplace of Halloween is?
Transylvania.
That's a great guess, but it's wrong.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Just 'cause?
Belgium.
Ireland.
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 The land that draws people's ire. So that makes sense. Halloween.
A couple more here. Harry Houdini was one of the most famous and mysterious magicians to ever live. Strangely enough, he died in 1926 on Halloween night as a result of appendicitis brought on by 3 stomach punches. Did you know that?
I think I did know that.
Scottish girls believed they could see images of their future husband if they hung wet sheets in front of the fire on Halloween. Other girls believed they would see their boyfriends' faces if they looked into mirrors while walking downstairs at midnight on Halloween.
Wet sheets, huh?
Wet sheets. Finally, according to tradition, if a person wears his or her clothes inside out and then walks backwards on Halloween, he or she will see a witch at midnight.
Huh. I'm going to try that today.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Do you believe in Halloween candy?
Yeah.
I have a list here of the top 10 Halloween candies. Number 10, Hershey bars. Number 9, Reese's Pieces. Number 8, Nestle Crunch. Number 7, Mr. Good Bar. That's probably my favorite candy bar, Mr. Good Bar. Should be called Mr. Great Bar. I also like whatchamacallit. Number 6, 100 grand. The candy bar 100 grand. This is the first thing I disagree with. 100 grand bars are trash. Sorry, but they are. Number 5, Butterfinger. I'm fine with that. Butterfinger is good.
Butterfinger's a strong candy that I don't eat a lot of.
It's a really good. The only problem is you got to like brush your teeth right after because it gets stuck.
Yep.
Number 4, Kit Kats. Kit Kat's overrated, dude. Like, I like a Kit Kat. Don't get me wrong. It's fine. But it's wafers with chocolate on the outside. Number 3, Snickers. Maybe perhaps the heartiest of all candy bars. Number 2, Twix. I'm just not a caramel guy. I don't like Milk Duds either.
I like Twix.
Number 1 candy for Halloween?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
It's the correct answer.
Some surprises on here. Tootsie Rolls at number 13. Tootsie Rolls are trash.
Tootsie Rolls are not good.
No, the only time I can deal with a Tootsie Roll is Tootsie Pop.
Yep. And even then, it's the worst part of the Tootsie Pop.
Have you ever tried to see how many licks it would take to get? Have you, in your life, have you even started it?
Yeah, I've started for sure. And then I've been like, this is stupid, crunch, crunch. I was like the owl in the commercial.
Fun fact, nobody has ever done it.
Interesting.
Yeah. You can't eat just one Pringle, and you can't just lick your way to the Tootsie.
Disagree.
Number 16, Twizzlers. I'm in the minority. I like Twizzlers. So for Eunice, Kyle the Avocado, I'm Carmichael Hippo. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Jim Rome is next. Enjoy the rest of your spooky day right here on Sports 1140 KHCK. Bye now.